The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Every journey begins with a simple act of care. For Quest to Unite Africa, that journey started with something simple: a mother, a newborn, and a promise that no life would be forgotten. We did not begin with buildings, we began with people. We packed mother newborn kits with our own hands because real change starts where the need is greatest. Those kids traveled farther than we imagined, and they opened our eyes to a deeper truth. Aid saves lives, but infrastructure saves generations. So we grew. Together with donors, volunteers, and partners, we sent a medical container to Burkina Faso. Not just supplies, but hope. Not just boxes, but proof that when a community comes together, healing moves across borders. That moment changed us because we realized something powerful. We weren't just delivering help, we were building a future. Now the journey continues. The next chapter is bigger than a shipment, bigger than a campaign. We are raising funds to build a state-of-the-art hospital, a place where mothers can give birth safely, where families can find care close to home, and where communities can grow stronger for generations to come. This hospital is not just a structure, it's a promise. A promise that healthcare will no longer be temporary. A promise that dignity will have a permanent home. And just like every step before, we cannot do this alone. Every gift, every brick, every name placed on the founder path becomes part of a story that began with compassion and is growing into legacy. It helps us move from emergency aid to lasting healing, from containers to care that never leaves, from vision to reality. Join us, stand with us, help us build a hospital that will serve generations, moving healthcare into action. Visit q2ua.org today.
All right, there we go. Shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted into the house. I welcome you this morning. Welcome to Covenant Awakenings. I am your host, Dr. Karis D. Copeland. I'm your host. I had to say the doctor, your brother. Sorry, family. That's what a lack of sleep does when you're fighting some sort of a stomach flu. So that is why I'm running a little later. I try to be on about 7:30. I'm gonna probably try to push this back to about 7 next week, 7 a.m. That helps me with getting stuff done and accomplished in the morning, with things that are going on in the background. Yesterday I was in the Wednesday night meeting with the family over at QTUA. As more folks get on into the chat and onto the live stream, I'll go ahead and put up the website that Brother Fast Nickel has been working on in the background. I demonstrated a little bit of that, demoed it a little bit of that on Tuesday, I believe, and I'll just show that just so you could start to navigate certain things. It helps. it does help. Hallelujah. But when I was explaining things yesterday, we there's a mission over at Q2A. There's a mission. Critical infrastructure and economic development. When I had my Covenant Awakenings website up, my ethos was Daniel chapter 12. And I want to get into this because this is where, everybody has, their kind of their theme. my theme was always this. And, the one thing that I know is that in the theme that I have, my ethos, why do I do what I do? Well, I do what I do because of this, and this. And I make myself feel important. No, I'm more than content in just being in the background. I really am. I'm more than content in just doing a humdrum, going to the 9 to 5, getting that paycheck, 1st and 15th, every 2 weeks. I'm good with the schedule because we all like to be comfortable. I was comfortable. And it was interesting because this morning, as I'm getting ready, one of the things, as I was thinking about some things, there's ebbs and flows, and there's a situation that had come on up with folks that I'm dealing with. It's not a bad thing, but there's always some sort of opposition. There is. It has to be. There's literally the law of opposition. And I laugh because when you read the I think it's the Apocalypse of Abraham, this pseudepigraphical book. Everything that we do, we're allowed to. Nothing comes easy. If it's easy, if it's too easy, and it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel righteous, then guess what? It's probably not. But when you're doing something, the Most High is going to allow the enemy to always test you. Are you going to give up? Are you going to grow faint? Are you going to become weary? Are you going to say, you know what? Forget it. It's not worth it. I need to step away. For my health's sake, I need it because it's going to try your health. You're going to be feeling a certain sort of way. You're going to be not responding. You're going to be going through stress. Oh, well, you know what? If it's God's will, you'll never experience stress. It's easy. It's easy in Babylon because the basis of Babylon was you didn't have to worry about stress when you are stealing and taking things from other people. You don't need to be stressed about that. Go ahead, steal it. It's whatever. Our forefathers, they said, hey, you know what? I'm not going to stress. I'm just going to take your stuff. And I understood early in my awakening what and how the Most High was using me. And Daniel chapter 12 had always been that chapter that stands out. And it says here, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Many of them. A lot of our people are still sleeping. A lot of our people are still not even understanding what and how things are moving, even when you explain to them, well, this is happening and this is happening. That I don't know. I can't get it. I can't understand. I can't. Some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as bright as the brightness of the firmament. And they that turned many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and sealed the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. We're at a time where knowledge has been increased. I've always said that this is the prophetic utterance of the internet. And we have been in a time where knowledge has been increased, and in that increasing, now there's being an accountability held. Wait a second, you all did this to us. You don't think that that's wrong? Well, no, our forefathers gave you to us as a continual victual. Yeah, but we're turning back to him. And when we're turning back to him, and guess what ends up happening? That means that he is getting ready to deliver us. And I want to kind of show this here because there's a theme that's going on over on the continent. whether people want to acknowledge it or not, there is a theme that's happening. And we have a lot of words being said and expressed as the dichotomy of a people, nations breaking apart, everyone to their own tribe, happening right now as we speak. I used to think that it would be based off of what you would get from a lot of the Asian population, right? That's clearly seen. Hey, you have this, you have that. But when we covered this story a couple of months ago, and shout out to Lisa Cabrera because she covered it. When white folks, Caucasian folks, were astonished to see that, I believe it was the FAFSA, and there was a subcategory of Europeans. What type of European are you? What? Shalom, Sister Olivia. How are you doing?
Good.
So, Sister Olivia, I'm gonna ask you this as we are discussing this. I'm gonna bring up this article as I was trying to prep the article. But here is something that the Pope takes veiled swipe at Trump during Sagrada Familia blessing. Pontiff says those who promote war cannot consider themselves Christians. That's the Pope right there. Pope Leo the 14th issued a veiled criticism of Donald Trump during his blessing of the Antoni Gaudí Sagrada Familia Basilica in Barcelona. The Pope celebrated Mass at the still unfurnished church in Barcelona on Wednesday to mark the 100th anniversary of its architect's death. In a homily at the Basilica, all right, sorry, let me put you on mute so I can read this. In a homily at the Basilica, the people cannot consider themselves Christians if they promote war, echoing a previous disagreement between the Catholic leader and the U.S. president. In April, an unprecedented row broke out over the Pope's disapproval of the Iran war, which saw Mr. Trump post an AI image of himself as a Christ-like healer. In his homily on Wednesday, the Pope also decreed that Christians could not abandon those who flee from misery. We cannot believe in Jesus and promote war. Let me just go on down here. J.D. Vance, the U.S. president or vice president, who was a Catholic convert, has used the just war argument and has urged the Pope to be careful on theological matters. So you have a lot of threats going between the West and the European West. So, Sister Olivia, what say you? What say you as you come on up here this morning?
I see them talking against each other, but I feel like they're together some kind of way. So I don't know. It's just it's very interesting, you know. Vance is saying telling the Pope to be careful, but at the same time the Pope is saying you're not really a Christian, you're just warmonger. So it's very interesting.
But but isn't that what we've always stated? Because they tried to use the theological argument to be very wishy-washy. Well, I'm not this, I'm not that. Shout out to Convo Space. I was she is an African lady over on the continent. I'm not sure where she's from out of,
Uh,
but she had a video, and the video was showing their households divided. And the young lady, Caucasian lady on there, she said, "I can't be in this family if you all are promoting racism." And I just thought that that was very interesting because yesterday when we were talking about how racism has actually cost the United States, especially to note in South Carolina, or I believe it was Georgia, one of those states, the Korean workers had been called had ICE called on them for building a Honda factory, which was going to bring in $2 billion of economic activity, and that was down the drain.
wow, wow.
And that's all because of racism.
Yeah,
So I look at this, Georgia. Thank you, Miss Colalia. So I look at this because the generations are seeing this happening, but you have a lot of folks. That's why I tell people, like, you can't really group people. That's very disingenuous to group folks. Even in our community, you can't group us all together in our community. Yeah, we know who we are. We know our heritage, but we also, I'm speaking for myself and many of the folks here that are listening on these channels and these platforms, we declare that in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. That is our heritage. That is our spiritual legal rights, as some folks would state. That's how we are legally authorized to access our heritage. All right, looks like I'm getting the crew up in here. Brother Mikael, what's going on? Where you driving to? What highway you on?
I'm in North Alabama today, brother Cares. I'm in North
Oh,
Alabama.
North.
I'm,
Oh boy,
yeah, I'm,
North
I'm up here in my
Alabama.
stomping grounds. Yeah, I'm up here in North Alabama.
You in Decatur, Alabama? You up there in
But yeah, you
Huntsville?
hit it right on the money. Yeah, I just come out of Huntsville.
Yeah, you on 65? You getting up, down, going on 20, getting up 24?
no, I'm on US 72, heading back to
Yeah.
Mississippi, right back home.
Oh my
You
goodness!
hit
I spent some time
it.
on up there. It's a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
little area, the foothills. Especially right now, you get the little nights. It's nice and cool throughout the day with the little foothills, because the Gulf just kind of, that's where that humidity just kind of sits at. When you go up and you
yeah.
don't feel that humidity, it's pretty nice. It is pretty nice.
Yeah, it done changed, man. Huntsville look totally different now, man. They done built that place up down there, man.
Hmm. Oh
I
yeah,
like it over there. I might move over there one day.
yeah. Huntsville is
Yeah,
pretty nice. It is really nice. I do have to say, for the terrain and the scenery and everything else, is pretty nice. Now you get on out of there and you go about a good 15, 20 miles away. Oh, you are in the south. You are in the
oh
south.
yeah, yeah. You in what I call Heathenville. You in Heathenville when you get outside those city limits.
Oh my
But
goodness.
but think about it. Our people are out in the woods, in the countryside, as well in the cities. We
Hmm.
pretty much spread it out across through here. I know people watch movies and look how the South. You know, you have your racism, but it's well, I can't find the right word for it. It's in your face, but it's not as
It's subtle.
like
It
yeah,
is
it's
subtle.
subtle. It's like yeah, it's not like it's in your movies. You know, they just straight blunt with it. You
Well,
know.
yeah, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Um, the reason that things have survived the way it survived, these folks aren't dumb. They're not dumb. They're not gonna just mess up their meal ticket, their paycheck. Not like how that Asian TikToker messed up his meal ticket.
Hmm.
We don't need no. Okay, you don't need us. We got your wigs, we got your nails, we got all this stuff from China. Okay, like we can't get on Temu, like we can't get on these little Chinese apps and order stuff wholesale. Get out of here.
You know, Karis, what's funny about the racism in the South is this right here. Because if you like me, growing up in small town America, uh, these I call them good white people. Yes, there's a little racism there, brothers and sisters, but it's you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Meaning,
There was a limit. There was a limit.
yeah,
They had
yeah,
limitations. Yes.
it's limitations. They're gonna speak. They're gonna hold conversation with you. The law in the South is you can get big, but don't get too close.
Yes. Know your boundaries. Don't be too familiar.
Yeah, know your
Oh
place,
yeah.
Negro. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Don't come big. Don't if you when you do get big, but don't try to be bigger than what I am. In other words, keep your blessings and stuff to yourself. Don't be out here
mhm,
flaunting it. They don't like when you flaunting your blessings.
yeah. Because
According to
when you
them, they
flaunt your
think they gave
blessings,
it to you.
yeah, because
Go
if you
ahead.
if you get too big, that means you have to get gone. That
Hmm.
means you have to move, you have to go somewhere else. You got to get up on out of there. And that's where that's been the legacy. That's been the legacy of our people. It's not that well, you can stay, but you're gonna be staying at your own peril or your own peril. Oh yeah, you did it big. Okay, look, we had the same thing happen here in the South, here in Florida.
Hmm.
This is such a horrible story, but I still remember this. This is a brother. His name was William Shakespeare. This man won the lottery. A white lady took him out, tried to transfer all of his money into her account, and the saddest thing was they found his body underneath of the driveway pavement slab.
Mm.
That was horrible. Right over in Lakeland, Florida,
Mm.
about 30 minutes from me.
You know, brother Cares, I see they said it's not as bad as it is in New Hampshire and Maine, and you know that's true. I didn't out of 42 years. I mean, sorry, 43 years of being on this earth, growing up in rural Mississippi. I never been called the N word. You know where I was called the N word at? In
Up
Boston,
north.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, up north. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. It's so racist up there, y'all. You, Lord have mercy.
That
Them
was the
folks,
first
they'll
time I
tell
was
you in your
exposed to
face.
being called an N word. When I lived in New Jersey, that was the first time. I still remember his name, Joe Johnson. It was this kid was cross-eyed, had all the glasses, so messed up, buck tooth, and he called me an N word. And you know, for me, I've always been sharp and quick witted. I said, well, at least I can see and I can actually eat straight.
Yeah, you
That was
know,
my quick
growing up, they said,
comeback. I said,
yeah.
good. I said, good. At least I could, and that's always been my my motive. But now I'm more of the, let me just sit back, say what you want to say. Say what you want to say. Let me just sit back. Let me go ahead and see your destruction occurring before your own eyes. In my eyes. And honestly, I look at it like this. It's better that we just leave them alone and let them be turned to their own devices, because they're going to mess themselves up. They're already doing that in the World Cup.
Hmm.
Oh, it's not a racist event. It's we did this, and the funny thing is, the whole world sees it. Dang, that's America. It sure is. How come
I'm
America
so
has a third world feel? Because it is.
I'm so proud of our African brothers and sisters that are on YouTube putting those compilation videos together of these heathens spazzing the hell out over here in America. Have you watched those
Mm-hmm.
videos? You know, I'm the reason why I say I'm so happy that they see it. Now they can understand and grasp better what we've been saying for the last 400 years has been true about how things really are over here. Because the dream outside of America is, oh, you can come to America, oh, you can make it, you can do this and you can do that. It's the land of the free, home of the brave, all that garbage. But through social media, through this internet, and you said earlier, knowledge shall be increased. This knowledge
Mm-hmm.
of racism has increased. People
Yeah.
see how these people really get down.
Oh yeah.
And
And and
mhm,
and and it just and here's the thing. You have to understand, they are their forefathers. They are the same generations. And I laughed when I was looking at a video yesterday. It was on Convo Space. I don't have it up. Um, of it was two Caucasian females, and they were
mhm.
recording their families. Well, I don't really think like that. I mean, I may say the word, but I say it in private, or it's but there's no hate in my heart. And you want to know what they always try to do? And this was a funny one. Then they equated it to, well, Jesus knows my heart.
Oh, yeah,
I, I,
that
I
like,
I'm like, Sister Chantel just said that. they're they're telling on themselves. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. When we now have read their mail, when we now have understood the blueprint, and they can't run to the blueprint, then that's the anger and the frustration that occurs. Remember, that's the model I was giving you all for vanity. Vanity. Okay, white supremacy is just vanity, right? You have vanity,
mhm.
you have pride. When the pride doesn't go anywhere, you have frustration. When the frustration happens, then you have fear, and then out of fear is anger. That's when people start to get deleted. This is the model. What's happening right now? Their their white supremacy, the vanity is not working. So now they're trying to increase their pride. The pride isn't working. So now they're getting frustrated, and their frustration is turning into fear, and the fear is turning into anger. And that's when you have deletions occurring. That's it.
Mhm.
So now that we can read their mail, now that we can actually come up with a coherent template and a model, oh, this is the white supremacy model. Here you go. Because people would try to say, well, it's just white supremacy. No, 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 no. Hey, I'm sorry. You're now here on Covenant Awakenings with Dr. Karis Copeland. So let me give you the model since I have my doctor in business administration. Because what? Because they're losing business. Who wants to do business with somebody that is fearful, that's frustrated, that's angry all the time? That's what was happening. Don't let me become too angry. Did you see that? Did you see this? This is what we're talking about right here. This came from Vance himself. Oh, the Pope better be careful.
Mm-mm.
Has urged the Pope to be careful on theological matters. Why? Because what Europe is trying to do, and this is a classic case, and I'm explaining, folks, this is the classic case. Europe is trying to disavow all of its relationships with slavery.
Mm-hmm.
What are they trying to do? Basically, they're trying to throw the U.S. under the bus.
But hold on, Cares. How can they throw the U.S. under the bus when the Roman Catholic Church is the architect of the transatlantic slave trade?
I didn't say that makes sense. I'm just telling you how the thing works.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what they do.
That's what they do. Yeah, I'm not telling you that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm telling you what
I
they're
agree
trying to
with
do.
you. I'm agree. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But how you go?
U.S.
How you
was the
gonna throw
insurance
them?
policy. That's the
Yeah.
insurance policy. Break and case the glass. All right, time to
No,
sacrifice
just like the
some
script
folks.
say. That U.S. is the scapegoat. See,
Yep.
that's their scapegoat.
Yes. Yeah. All of a sudden, now the Catholic Church has beef with the U.S. Why? Because
Check this
they
though.
know.
See, they
Go ahead.
they're
Go
running.
ahead.
They're running from the curses. They
Yes.
see
No.
Deuteronomy
Wait
30
a
and
second.
7.
Now, wait a second. Now they're practicing um um risk. What do they call that?
Management.
Yeah, it is. It's risk management. That's what it is, right? They're trying to avoid. They're trying to transfer. Matter of fact, they even got the insurance. Because why? Because look, when these folks, they're looking at it like, when these folks are gone, okay, then we're gonna be rich because we don't have to worry about them anymore, and we're gonna have a relationship with Africa. Now they'll accept that they have to change the relationship dynamics with the continent. They'll accept that. What they can't accept is the continued. This is what it is. It's the continued economic decline that's happening. Because now that this fight is building up, what the U.S. has basically stated, this is why the U.S. doesn't care about what is happening in the world scene, because these nations are complaining, hey, y'all are fighting Iran. Do you not see that you're destroying our economies?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not see that you're destroying our relationships? Don't get it twisted. They tried to use the U.S. as, well, see, we're not as bad as them. See, we understand our historical deficiencies, and we want to acknowledge it. This is why Macron, we just read this article earlier this week, Macron had said it 11 times. Reparations. Oh, that would never have happened. But why is it happening right now? Because they see their end. What did I say? I said this on this channel many times. I said this years before. Economics is going to destroy the system.
You know what, Kerry? I see this too. He's hollering reparations. And Macron, which is France, and the rest of those Western European powers is trying to get a foothold in Africa. It's not to get a hold of it is to get a hold of the main resources that's under the foot of Africa, right? But but it's the new currency that's coming to America. I mean, to Africa, and that currency is us. Because wherever we are, that nation thrives.
Come on.
So
can you say that again?
We are
say
the currency.
People in the back.
Yeah, we are the currency. This is why the Western powers is trying to get a foothold in Africa, because they know that the currency which America holds under its foot is us. the real currency. They're trying to get a control and a hold on that. So this is why they're screaming reparations. Macron said it how many times? 11 times.
Do you,
Reparations.
do you know that in this month, I can't. When I saw that story, that article, that had chills down my spine. It just, oh my goodness. Ghana was already leading the charge on behalf of the African Union for the reparations discussion. Because why? Because it's coming. Why is it coming? Because what they're doing is they're putting the U.S. in checkmate. Hey, we're offering reparations. What are you doing? We're not going to pay them anything. They need to leave. They see what's coming. What did I tell you about lawfare, legalese? This is what's going to end up happening. Why do you think all of a sudden, all these things are aligning happenstance? No, it's no happenstance. It's not a happenstance. It's just that they know how long they have with us.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They literally look. When you read the word, when you read the scriptures, when you read Exodus literally states to the day, from the promise that was made to that very day, that very same day. Do you not think that the Most High doesn't have his timing? He absolutely does. Do you think that they know the Most High's timing? They absolutely do. What do? They messed up every type of eschatological order to do what? To keep us in confusion. They don't care about them being in confusion. They're collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Caucasians, they're realizing that they're collateral damage.
Man, what you said?
Come on out. Oh, you know what? We done figured on out. Africa's the continent. Oh, yep. You know what? God told me.
Yeah, the Garden of Eden is in Africa. Oh, Jerusalem actually is in Africa. Oh my God. Here's the kicker though. When it hits all of them that's all the Gentiles that's in the dark over here in America, when they find out we the people of God, it's really gonna blow the top off this place.
You know.
What the scriptures say is these the people of God who we had in derision. That's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3. That's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3.
Yes,
They're gonna be looking at the strangeness of our salvation.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So let me tell you the story. For some odd reason, my Netflix was down all last week. Okay, Netflix was down. I was trying to just relax and just decompress. I was thinking, I was like, should I just cancel this Netflix subscription? Because you know they're trying their best now to demonize Michael Jackson. You already know how that's going. Okay.
Right.
But I like sci-fi. I told you, I love sci-fi. I'm that sci-fi nerd. I was that Star Trek kid. I loved all sci-fi stuff. So on Netflix, I actually started. I was doing this. I was working backwards. With Riddick. Okay, so first I was watching Riddick, and then I was watching Chronicles of Riddick. And you know what? I kid you not. You know what's coming on tomorrow? Brother Yakova is having his synopsis, and no kidding, it was based on the Chronicles of Riddick. And the reality was, and he had this, it's like you keep what you kill. But I was laughing because in the movie. So let me give you a synopsis of the movie. Yeah, I just finished watching Pitch Black yesterday because I was doing it like a couple days in a row. Um, what had happened, especially in the movie The Chronicles of Riddick? Um, he was imprisoned, and the main thing was once he was in prison, he actually received and inherited the empire because he challenged the Lord Marshal. That was literally the synopsis. But what was going on was that he was a fugitive. He was always being chased for some way, somehow, being wrongfully accused of everything. I mean, you kind of understand, I don't even know who actually created the movie, but I was thinking that was very interesting. But one of the scenes that was one of my favorite scenes. He says, "I'm about," because he was in a prison planet, and the planet was hot and everything else. It was very descriptive. There are descriptors there. I think Yakoba has. He'll break it down, so I'm not gonna steal his thunder. But one of the scenes that was there was when you see it go down, keep up with me, or sit here and perish. Okay? When you see it go down. And guess what? He was talking to all the other inmates that were there on the prison planet. Some inmates saw what was going on. Some inmates said, "You know what? I'm already condemned to death. I'm just going to sit here." But to me, that was like it was telling. I don't know why that always hit in that manner. But yes, you saw them trying to cleave, as Cynthia was saying. You were seeing them trying to cleave to escape the fire. Yeah, J Zero. And I saw your post. Speaking of Alabama, oh boy, I don't even know if I can show that on YouTube. Man, oh man, somewhere in Leesburg, Lee County. Oh, I may, yeah. I'll pop it on out, and I'll show you. But thank you for that story because I'm gonna pop it on out and show you. But yeah, a prison nation, exactly. And I like to say that was a good movie. That was back in 2004, and I have to laugh because I believe that those movies they always resonated with us, and to be quite honest, um, that's how Vin Diesel had started his career, because I remember that back in it was about 1999, 2000, and I used to work at a movie theater back then. So there are movies like The Boiler Room and things of that nature, and he was in that movie, and that didn't really have the traction. But when he did Pitch Black, that was it. Like once he had Pitch Black, and that was a blockbuster. That was once he and it was like really, because you know what it had? It had LaDavid Keith in there. The brother from They Live. Our brother LaDavid Keith. I think he passed away a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But that was the case. That was what really started him on, those that movie path, that movie career, because then it was literally about less than a year later, then he had Fast and Furious, and you see where that franchise has gone, 10, almost 11 or 12, depending on how you want to count those movies. later. But then that was all through the Matrix type of, late 90s. Oh, he's still alive? Okay, my bad. Well, hallelujah. I'm glad he's still alive. But a lot of the stuff that we see in sci-fi, isn't it funny that this is now all being messaged? Isn't this funny that now they're trying to do Disclosure and Disclosure Day all at the same time? And there's no, to me, there's no such thing as coincidence. It was a programming. But I'm not gonna steal Jacobus thunder on that. So I will, pitch pitch black, yes. And they can't see. They can't see the monsters that's among them. They can't see. There was a vision, a vision that they could not see that he could see. Oh boy. Let me stop stealing Jacobus thunder. Let me stop. All right.
Like that movie, The Book of Eli with Denzel in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The scene where that white guy that was controlling that town, when he said, the white boy said, why you so obsessed with that book? And he said, because with that book I could control the world. You know what I'm saying?
Come on
so
now.
That Bible it depends who gets their hands on it and interpret it. But when the wicked got their hands on our Bible, or our history book, as I call it, they interpret it to mislead the people of God, which is us, through their Christianity. But at the end, see, what that movie was telling us was the word is just not in that book, which it is. It's in us. So no matter what they do,
the witnesses. Exactly. Yeah, without us, it doesn't make sense. And that's why they always say, I don't like to read. It just doesn't make sense. Why? Because they're looking somewhere else, and everything, all the patterns fall in line when you're looking the right way.
Mm-hmm. We the word that was made flesh.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at this spiritually, it'll put goosebumps on you. They tell it in these movies, man. They know.
What is it? It's also it's not just a book, it's a weapon. It really is. Yeah. And they have weaponized it. Matter of fact, they weaponized it against us. The Pope literally said this. So now you have the pushback by the White House. We told you it was going to be some pushback, and now you're going to have pushback with the Europeans because now, we got too greedy. We can't go along with the program of the United States because that greed is literally, it's costing us. Think about this. It's costing them now more than ever because I don't know if you all know this, and the reason I know this is because of because of my interactions over on the continent and the folks that I deal with. Cocoa has gotten more expensive. And I don't think people realize, and you could check this, but your chocolate with actual the cocoa plant, are the plant that produces the cocoa pods. That cocoa is becoming more expensive because the continent is reducing the resources for it, i.e., they're making people pay. Mm-hmm. I.e., they're getting their money. I.e., these folks are getting mad because now all of a sudden there is a cost and an expense to do business like they've never had to do before. They don't want to give up their resource free or so reduced that it's basically free. All you got to pay for is literally the shipping and handling. But that's what Ghana has done, and Ghana has been bringing in millions of dollars. That's the same thing that you now have with Ivory Coast. Said, trust us, chocoholics, Dr. Karras. We know that the chocolate has gotten more expensive, $3 to $4 a bar. It has. Yes, it has. And yep, Hershey's, hence Hershey's putting out synthetic chocolate. Exactly. So you all know where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
So the quality of chocolate, the quality of goods has become reduced. So the realization is this, that we're the only, so our generation, if you were born really in about from, I would say from 2010 and up, 2010 and over, everything is synthetic. If you were born in 2010,
Mm-mm.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Everything is synthetic from 2010 and later. So if you were born past that, past those dates, then you don't have what those actual resources had once been. You now have a very, very diluted brand. Because chocolate wasn't just chocolate, it tastes good and things. It was actually something that was, you felt it. I'm not going to say that it was, a an opioid of sorts, or a controlled substance, not in the very least, but it's just like what you get when I'm telling you, you still had caffeine and things of that nature. You had a lot of caffeine. It was a natural
high.
Caffeine, energy, caffeine producing plant. And I had the chance to experience that even in the most raw form. And I'm telling you, like literally raw form right off the actual cocoa tree. They gave me the pod and I said, oh, this is good. Because when it comes on out, it's white, it's milky. It's a very milky. Yes, it's an aphrodisiac. Absolutely, it is. Russell Stover's, you get them a box of chocolate right for Halloween. They don't even know what that is. We know the box of chocolate. I got the box of chocolate. It ain't doing anything. Why am I paying $50 for this Russell Stover's? Because the quality is gone. You have a synthetic.
Hey, you remember what they used to do to Coca-Cola? You know what they put in Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
They put actually cocaine in there.
You said you got that. They said, look, they said they got that. They used to have that Fenty coat. That Fenty
coat. Yeah, hey. Y'all remember those of us that was born from 70s and 80s on down? Y'all remember Coca-Cola back in the day? Real Coca-Cola? RC Cola? Y'all remember RC Cola?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Our grandparents used to tell us about that. Like, nah,
man.
Because a lot of folks, a lot of that stuff. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
The best foods. This is before plastic. The best foods was in bottles, glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
preserved. Listen, if you ain't never had a Pepsi or Coca-Cola in a bottle, glass bottle, you don't know. You ain't tasted nothing. It's different. See that bottle, it holds it. It holds that stream. But see that plastic, it hits different.
It hits different. It sure does. Go across. You got to go across the world because look, all these other countries, you go into the Middle East, it's in glass. You go here to plastic, man, get out of here. You drinking plastics. You ain't drinking glass. You drinking plastics.
Yeah, and this plastic that we're consuming, especially in men, causes estrogen. This is why a lot of men are feminine, got man boobs. That plastic.
So you're saying we going through plastic surgery without actually asking to go to plastic surgery?
Yeah, they giving it to you for free. Well, you
For
purchased it, but you know what I'm
free.
saying.
One
Yeah,
one drink at a time. Get your plastic surgery. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's pretty bad. That's horrible. That's horrible.
yeah. I mean, everything we touch, everything we got, even from my cars and stuff in our homes, everything is plastic.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Hmm.
yeah. Oh, I knew this. I knew. Yeah. Putin says if you know Crown Royal chocolate infused liquor only comes out once per year. Yeah. Look. Black folks. If you didn't know about that purple and gold pouch, you know that was made for black folks, right? That was a crap.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, Crown
What you
Royal,
sipping on?
man, on that Crown Royal, man. Oh, that Hennessy, that Henny hen, make you sin. That Hennessy, Crown
You
Royal.
know, it's sad. That's what they marketed to. They market that to us. Look, if you ain't marketing stuff to us, you ain't getting rich. Behold, I make myself rich. Look, if you ain't marketing to us, get out of here.
Single gin. I remember single gin was one of your most popular drinks back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look. You want to know how rich Tangeray? You should have bought some Tangeray stock when Snoop Dogg was talking about juice and gin. That's the stock he would have wanted to buy. Oh snap! They're talking about excuse me, gin and juice. They're talking about gin and juice. Let me get some stock in there. These folks know.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm wildly tangented, but now you're starting to see like when people say, oh, I don't see Europe being divided. Get out of here. Europe has fought major wars over resources. You don't think that they're going to fight the United States? Get out of here. That's why they're trying to hurry up and put together a European army. You just saw that. Why? Because if you didn't know, and this is where a lot of people I think get the confusion. The war in Iran isn't just a war on Iran. Because they're not going to hear this from a lot of other commentators and commentary and things of that nature. The war in Iran is not just a war on Iran. Hello? It's a global economic war that the U.S. waged. You don't want to pay the tariffs? Gotcha. We're now going to siphon off your money via energy.
You know, I see something different with that war in Iran because they're the largest oil reserves right now, pumping keeping the earth moving, these nations moving with this oil. I think the United States, knowing prophecy, they know prophecy. I'm talking about the elite of the United States. I think they're trying to cripple Iran to cripple Africa. That's just my opinion.
Uh, maybe, and I say this: their calculus is if we can cripple Iran, then we have a chance because Iran is literally it's the gateway to the Caspian.
Mm-hmm.
Iran, remember we talked about Iran's geographic location. It is the main conduit. Iran is the main conduit on the Belt and Road Initiative. You got to remember, they're fighting for now a new global system of trade. But to get to to have out with the old, in with the new, well, you got to get the old out. And that old is the United States. The old is it's the old colonial thinking of the West. Why do you think now Europe is trying to make amends? You know what? After a couple of years, we now see the light. We now see the light. Because why? Because they all know this is where things are headed. They see where things are going.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Go ahead, Sister Olivia. You've been in the background, so if you have any commentary. And you're on mute, Sister Olivia, if you're saying something. Okay, well, thank you for popping on in, Sister Olivia. And yeah, Holland Meach says they want the straight in order to keep the petrodollar alive. Yeah, well, the petrodollar is actually dying, but this is the last throes of the petrodollar. Whenever you see that a monetary system is declining, that monetary system is going to go just like this. It's a natural progression. It's happened with so many empires. What, people thought that the United States was going to be different? Well, it's supposed to be different. It was supposed to, okay. And then when it doesn't happen, then people get mad, they get out of shape, they get bent out of shape. Why didn't this thing work out the way that it works? Well, we've told you. We've told you what the conditions were going to be. We told you that you only had a little bit of time. And now what they're setting the stage for, they're setting the stage to throw the U.S. under the bus. I'm sorry, they are. Because now when these stories are being highlighted, and I'm going to share this real quick. This is on X, courtesy of our brother J0. Let me share this. Here we go.
Witnesses say the family was gathered outside for a reunion Sunday night when a car drove by. A white man who witnesses say was Jeffrey Tyler Kinzer was inside the car yelling racial slurs at the group.
So, and he's talking junk and he started yelling the N-word. He kept going, so we let him go. And we were just discussing what just happened, why he tripping.
But Green says Kinzer came back, this time wearing armor and carrying a rifle.
And then that's when everybody started running. He got a gun. All the kids, they were making sure the kids get in the house. And people started taking positions because they seen he had a gun. And I was in the middle of the street. That's when he raised it and fired. Boom. And I grabbed my gun and started returning fire and moving with him.
Green says he's a Marine veteran. He says he was willing to defend his family, including children and older adults who were present.
It was so hurtful. I cried all night. I'm laying outside on the ground through a shootout under a car with my other auntie, my other sister, who was 77, and I'm 62.
The investigation is ongoing. Officials say more charges are expected to come. This family says they are just grateful to be alive. Reporting in Lee County, Mariah Norman, WALB, your hometown news.
Hey, please, brother, please.
Do I need to replay that? Do I need to replay that?
Brother, while you were playing that, the scriptures was leaping off in my mind. While you was playing it. But if you want to play it again, you can play it again. But we got to pull these scripts, though.
I'm gonna play this again. You pull it on out because I think it's. Oh, all right. Here we go. Here we go.
Witnesses say the family was gathered outside for a reunion Sunday night when a car drove by. A white man who witnesses say was Jeffrey Tyler Kinzer was inside the car yelling racial slurs at the group.
So when he's talking junk and he started yelling the N-word, he kept going, so we let him go. And we were just discussing what just happened, why he tripping.
But Green says Kinzer came back, this time wearing armor and carrying a rifle.
And then that's when everybody started running. He got a gun. He got a gun. All the kids, they was making sure the kids get in the house. And people started taking positions because they seen he had a gun. And I was in the middle of the street. That's when he raised it and fired. Boom. And I grabbed my gun and started returning fire and moving with him.
Green says he's a Marine veteran. He says he was willing to defend his family, including children and older adults who were present.
It was so hurtful. I cried all night. I'm laying outside on the ground through a shootout under a car with my other auntie, my other sister, who was 77, and I'm 62.
The investigation is ongoing. Officials say more charges are expected to come. This family says they are just grateful to be alive. Reporting in Lee County, Mariah Norman, WALB, your hometown news.
WALB. I would say it probably has to be somewhere, maybe in Alabama. So I don't know where WALB is on that.
That's South Alabama. I believe that's South Alabama.
Yeah, when I saw the Broussard. Oh, that's Albany. Oh, snap. I've been to Albany.
Albany, Georgia, or Albany?
Yeah, that's Albany, Georgia.
That's Albany, Georgia.
Albany.
Yeah, that's how you see it. When we see it over here, Albany.
Albany.
Yeah, I got an uncle that stayed in Albany, Georgia.
Man. Shalom, brother. Minister Rick, shalom.
Yeah, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing better. The Most High is good. As long as I don't have sudden movements. So I have to, limit my joking, limit my laughing.
Oh, we had a power outage last night, trees falling down. We're on solar generators and gas generators, and it's interesting. I had to do a AI check on remember we talked about the eye of the needle.
Mm-hmm.
When I learned that years ago, we didn't have all these things. So I did an AI check on that. Come to find out, the thing I cited stemmed from Talmudic sources, also medieval times of the 9th century. And you dig deeper and deeper and deeper. When they talk about the eye of the needle, actually in Aramaic, the language that Jesus spoke, camel is also, because they made the rope out of camel, they use camel and rope interchangeably. So you may actually have been talking about it's easier to fit a rope through a needle than, so that was the thing. But hey, in the last days, knowledge will increase. You got modern science to help us. So there we are. There we go. The truth is coming out.
Absolutely. I'm turning my attention here. Now I'm going to tell you this. I didn't know that this was in Albany, Georgia. I thought that was very interesting. The reason I was in Albany, Georgia, it was about how many years ago? I was out there 2010. I was out there 2010. And the reason I was out there was because you actually have a Marine Corps logistics base that's there. So when you saw that it was a Marine veteran, Yeah, there's a lot of Marines on out there. So it's a Marine Corps logistics base. That was the only reason I was there in Albany. From Tampa, it's about 4.5 hours. I've done the drive a couple times. And it is that green, it is that scenic and rustic like that. It is a very nice area. And Brother Michael, you had stated it. You had stated it
What I state, brother?
earlier today. Earlier today, what you know, you can't you can't be too uppity.
Yeah.
They were trying to throw themselves a nice, and there's a nice home. These are some nice homes.
Yeah. Our people live nice in the South. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I said earlier. Don't believe the hype that you see on the movies that we live in
Yeah.
shotgun houses. No,
No.
our people in the South, we live in nice homes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you saw that birthday party. You saw the home. It was, yeah. It was very nice.
But you know
Go ahead.
that what we saw, you know, I said scriptures was popping off in my mind. We had a 72-year-old woman there. We had children there.
No regard for what? The old or the young.
He had no regard for the children or the old or the young. Then when you go to Lamentations 4, started around verse 17 and read down to 20 or maybe 21, it says we look for a nation that cannot save us. What was the police at?
Come on.
Then when you get on down, it says they hunt our steps that we may not go in our streets. He was hunting.
Come
brothers
on.
and sisters. See, you see how the word. See, when you see these type of devastation or these occurrences happen to our people, when you into the word of the Most High God, you begin to understand what you're looking at, what you're seeing. And that's all I had to say. Brother Karras, that just them scripts were just coming out.
It doesn't make any. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. But that's the whole thing. That's the anger, right? That's why I tell people the white supremacy model. There's a model to that. That pride is now being frustrated because why? It's not living up to the hype that it once had. So in that frustration, they have fear. And in that fear, they have anger. And in that anger, there's murder, there's death, there's pew-pews. Now, understand one of the things that I was talking about, especially yesterday, when I was telling people we have had a generation of trained warriors. We have. You saw one man out of probably, it looks like to me, probably estimate maybe 40, 50 people. He had his pew-pew, and then he engaged the enemy. He said he moved with. Do you know what that means? He was moving in and engaging with. He was doing some close combat tactics to return fire. And when that fire had been returned, the man in the armor, he was running away. Oh, I thought this was just going to be a turkey shoot. And not one people, no, you didn't see there was injuries, not near one people had gotten grazed by an AR.
Not one.
That's hard to imagine. And that just, is I would imagine if he is comfortable with taking out his AR-15, if he is comfortable with racking the round, if he is comfortable with bringing up that sight, and then he still couldn't hit anybody. He still couldn't even aim and target to have an impact on anybody.
He's lucky he was in the right black neighborhood in Albany, Georgia. He's lucky he wasn't in the wrong side of town. He done that. But them little YNs would have ate his butt up.
Oh, yeah. But see, that's why. Do you see that? That's why. It was an older, more than likely, an older couple, an older area, and they were thinking there's vulnerabilities. That's the only reason. That's the only way that they move. Oh, they're vulnerable.
They like
I
soft
can.
targets.
Yep, it's a soft target. I can get on out there. I can get at them. I can at least go to jail. Having brought one down, I have one under my notch. And now this dude is looking like a coward, and I'm sorry, but that needs to be a hate crime. But remember, they find themselves not guilty. I
They
was in
hold
fear of
themselves
my
not guilty.
life, and I was in fear of my life by getting um, body armor.
But you know what the Most High was telling us through that Carmelo Anthony case? Through that justice system, whether we defend ourselves or not, we're guilty.
We're guilty. Yep.
So,
That's all
brothers
that
and sisters,
exactly.
all I'm saying is I'm not an advocate for violence, but Christ said, "Sell your garment and get you a sword." Well, we know what sword is in the time is. You think I'm gonna let one of them run up on me like that? I'm just gonna be like that Marine, that ex-Marine. I'm gonna be moving.
Yeah, yeah, he you could tell he stayed ready. He stayed ready. And again, no, we don't advocate for violence on this channel. But again, if you don't know the climate that we're in, oh, that could have been a whole lot worse. But let me tell you how these curses are reversing just like that. Oh, this dude was going to try to do a mass pew pew on our people, and it didn't work out for him. These are different times. How did the Most High protect our people like that? These are different times.
We're on the other side of the curses now.
Mm-hmm.
God, as you said, Michael has stood up. He's fighting for us now. He's standing up for our people, and you're not going to be able to get away with what you used to be able to get away with in the past.
Daniel chapter 12. This knowledge is running to and fro. Pastor Rick Fletcher says temporary insanity, mental illness. He'll be found not guilty. The Holy Spirit in us irritates the demons in them, and it does. And then they try to justify their wickedness. Well, I'm not like that because Jesus try to have a semblance of righteousness, but they don't have it. What does it say? Away from me, you wicked servant. You never knew me. How do you know the Most High, but you don't even know his people? How do you know who you're serving? And you don't know the people. Did it for the least of these. Did it for the least of these. They don't even they can't even understand the scripture. They're just there being spoon-fed. Just like what Brother Mikael was saying with the book of Eli. Well, I went to church. Jesus loves me. I paid my tithe because Jesus loves me. Do you even practice anything in the scriptures? Nope. And guess what he's going to say? I guarantee you, I'm a God-fearing man, and this is I got provoked in my anger. I guarantee you. What did they do to you? They had a verbal altercation. A verbal altercation led to that? No. The pride from the vanity. What are they doing on my street? They're going to learn today. that created the frustration. And then the anger that followed, the end result, they wanted blood.
Hey, Brother Karras, that's part of the Pope's message. Yeah, we started it, but we're not co-signing for your mess anymore.
Exactly. If this is the murder that's on your mind, you're not a Christian. Now you understand they are in the like I had stated. I stated this back 2 weeks ago. There's now a schism in Christianity. You can't be an evildoer and say that you're a Christian. You can't. How can you hate your brother but still love Christ? You can't. That's the spirit of the Antichrist, which is what we've been living in. Well, I don't think he did that. Hey, listen, you can say what you want to say, but it's out there. You can do what you want to do, but it's out there. They don't have anything to stand on. Their legs have been broken. For real, it's broken. And now they're getting mad at us because, well, you needed to side with us. You needed to do this. You needed to do that. You needed to say this. No, we don't, and we're not going to do it. Well, I thought that you're a good American. Look, all I'm here to do is to be a witness. That's my only job. You can get mad. You can get angry. You can go and get your pew and get your vest on. But at the end of the day, I serve the Most High. Good, bad, and different. I serve the Most High. And guess what? And he will protect me. Even as the rounds go down. Did you see that? All those swords flying by, 1,000 by my left, 10,000 by my right. Do you see that? That was Psalms 91, protection. Exactly. Mr. G says they've been getting away with things until Pope Leo. Why? They're trying to explain, the Europeans are trying to say, we don't condone that. Hey, we messed up in the past. Can you at least give us credit that we're trying to say that we messed up? Can you at least give us credit? They messed up. Now, are they going to do it the right way? Look, we already know. Maybe, maybe not. But the way that they're having to now say reparations and to have to utter reparations, do you know that that is something that they, in order for you to even come to that understanding, you're hurting. They're not saying it just because, oh, you know what? I found out. All of a sudden, I found out that I was wrong. You were right. And you know, you had said it in such a loving manner. And you know, I finally figured on out. I went to the word. I went in and I prayed about it. And I said, Father, just reveal. And you know, in his righteous and goodness, and you know, he revealed things, and hallelujah. Hallelujah. If only it would be that easy. No. They're stiff-necked people just as we had been a stiff-necked people. And when we understood and our forefathers realized that captivity was looming, why do you think that they're so scared? Their whole background, you have a conversation, they'll tell you, we don't want to be made slaves. Why? Well, because then you'll treat us bad and you'll look, honestly, that's not us. We leave things alone, just like what the one person said in that video. Hey, we were just talking about how crazy that situation was, and we were just about our business. And then the man pulled up. That's it. We're about our business. There's no thoughts. Look, I'm just bringing this on up. My whole day is spent. Oh, you want to know what? These Caucasian people. They're out first. No, I'm off doing other things. We're off doing other things. We just come together as a family. We talk. We reason amongst ourselves, and then we do life. We do what the Most High is instructing us to do. Whether you're working, whether you're retired, whether you're doing something else. Hey, life is lifing. All right, so Brother Mikhail, you're back. Let me get you added to the stage. Why is that? Because we got better things to do. We're not filled with hate. Sorry, we're not. And when people say that, oh, you hate us because you tell us the truth, is that really hate? Actually, people that tell you the truth, that's actually love. That's an admonishment. Hey, I see you're on the right, or you're on the wrong path, because this age has been about self-gratification. You can't tell me I'm doing anything wrong. That's what this age is all about. You can't tell me I'm doing things wrong. You're not allowed to say that. I want to feel good. That's my, you need me to. We have literally, it is a very adolescence type of an environment, even in the adults. I deal with it with the kids, but even in the adults.
Brother Cares.
Mm-hmm.
You remember on the Dave Chappelle show, Paul Mooney was he was the therapist, and his client was a white man laying on the couch,
I
and
remember that.
he was saying, he said, the white man was saying, I feel so guilty the way we do black people. I mean, everything we got through murder and deceit, and Paul Mooney said, well, why won't you stop and just give the stuff you stole, just give it back. I know that's the right thing to do, but it's just I can't. The reason we do what we do because we fear retribution, retaliation, and this is why we want to keep our foot on your neck. And Paul Mooney just kept interviewing him, give him therapy. But to go with what you're saying, they know something bad is coming for them. Don't think they don't lay in their beds at night and don't think everything I got has been gotten through theft and murder of God's chosen people. They know it. They know something is coming. Something don't feel right. I don't feel like an American dream is dying. You see them on social media spazzing the hell out on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok. They brothers and sisters, this the great, not the great awakening, but the great day of reckoning is coming for our oppressor and their children. Or I
Yeah,
like to say the slave master and his children.
And you know the crazy thing is that that's not going to be by our own doing. That's actually
That's
by their doing. And the reason
mhm.
why I say this is because, again, here's this, and again, here's all the peace deals, the peace talks, all that other nonsense. Here we go. This is as of today, June 11th. U.S. and Iran trade fresh rounds of strikes with talks under pressure. There's no talks. They just put with talk because, again, that's the delusion that they're trying to keep people in. We've said this. This is their delusion. They're in a great delusion. Oh, well, we're going to have a peace thing any day now. Oh, we're going to have peace any day now. Yeah, but we have to now strike them. What? They're in Delusionville. Now, for us, again, we're always particular because, again, we don't flow in that delusion with them. You want to know why they don't like us? Because we give them a sense of accountability. You can't do that. That hurts the pride, and that's the frustration point.
You know, we are already afflicted people, right? And in Zechariah, the Most High said, I'm very sore displeased at the heathen that is at ease, because they help forward the affliction. See, they just keep going. They don't, you don't have sense enough to stop. They don't have sense enough to stop. They just keep forwarding the affliction on our people.
Well, they're running right off the cliff. And that's where, we see that. And it's like, no, help save America. Why? Why are we gonna just jump off the cliff with you? That makes no sense. We're not gonna do that. This is from CNN.com. U.S. and Iran trade fresh rounds of strikes with talks under pressure. Tehran targets American bases after U.S. attacks across Iran as Trump expresses frustration, here you go, over the slow pace of negotiations. And here's the latest. Iran attacks U.S. bases. The Iran's Revolutionary Guard said they carried out retaliatory strikes targeting U.S. bases in the region. Air defenses were activated in Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan. And again, this is the second night of strikes. So there's no talks. They say that because they want to have people comfortable. That's the last thing they want to do. They can't tell you the truth. Oh, are we going to get back to normal? Yeah. We're going to get back to normal. We're going to get back to normal. See, this is happening. Smooth words. Smooth words. Oh, I love those words, honey. I like the sweet
scriptures say
nothing.
that words the scriptures say that words is sweet like butter. They got sweet words.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to. I believe them. I believe after 37 times. After 37 times.
Peace, peace, peace. Then it was what? Sudden destruction.
And now understand that, and I had to get this article. this one right here. And I thought I had that article up. Oh boy, I was going to bring this on up, but they beat me to the punch. This is late breaking. This is as of today. This is late breaking. Oh my goodness. I tell you, they tell on themselves because I was going to bring this on up, but all right. So the reason I had this article on up, okay. Number one, when these strikes were occurring, when Trump was trying to say, "Oh yeah, well we take Iranian oil, and we've gotten the oil and stuff like that because I just let them know that today we took their oil. That's the reason gas prices are so low." Paraphrasing, but that's what he said. I'm building into this. This is what he said the other day in the news conference, and then it was mentioned by I believe a Miss Kane over in Congress, and she was leading a testimony or something like that, or a hearing, and she said, well, this is what President Trump said, that that they have that they're taking Iranian oil, and that's why gas prices have gone down. I'm going to tell you this. Actually, no, that's a lie. They didn't take Iranian oil. Gas prices didn't go down from Iranian oil. What's happening is that gas prices went down because they're tapping into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That's what's happening. I guarantee you, Brother Mikael, you probably had a couple stops on some of the Gulf Coast areas to haul some oil within these past couple of weeks. I guarantee you.
No, I don't touch that.
Oh, you don't touch the oil?
Not the,
I'm sure there's probably a lot of loads. Probably a lot of calls for those loads.
Yeah, I haul what we call a dry box, just a dry 53-foot trailer.
Yeah, look, they are using our U.S. reserves. Yes, they even mentioned that. They're like, oh, it's at dangerous levels. So the way that we're going at 2 million gallons. Yes.
Yeah,
they haven't stolen Iranian oil, but understand that's what he is alluding to. Okay, how do we prime them? Hey, well, we're going to go in, we're going to steal the oil, but let's just tell them that, we've already stole their oil. Because why? Because that's what they're getting ready to do.
Yeah.
They're going to get ready to take land. This is the strikes. This is why you had the helicopter incident. Iran was like, we didn't even touch your helicopter, but good luck if that's what you're saying. Because, again, with all of these other F-16s going down, all of these, F-35s going down and missions breaking apart and things of that nature, you mean to tell me that they'll say an Apache went down because of Iran? What? How many MQ-9s did they not say? And we've lost like dozens of them. Get out of here. Here's your false flag. They took down an Apache pilot or a chopper. Now we're going to go in and steal. What? It makes no sense, but it does make sense when you are prepping the road to war. Hey, we did this. Now it's time to go take Carthage Island. Why? Because it's about that time. Why?
I think it's really gonna heighten up after the 4th of July when they just gonna go full blown scale kamikaze over there in that part of the world, the U.S. I think they're gonna wait till after the 250th anniversary of the United States. They call war. To get
I don't know.
They have the American people feeling patriotic. 4th of July, 1776. You know how they love the 4th of July. And then right after that, I believe they're gonna say, "Hey, we at war," and they're gonna be ready, guns ablazing, ready to go in. That's just my opinion.
Again, I think the eschatological math is the times, right? 1 plus 1 times is 2 times 1. And then your 0.5 is 2 times 1. Oh, you're in the background. I believe that that's the 250-year mark. I believe what they're trying to do, they're trying to get everything. Remember, they wanted to try to get things wrapped up. Well, we're going to wrap this on up by our 250th year because then we can have celebrations and then we can be on this. We can sustain this for the next 1,000 years. That's what they think. Look, you think the Third Reich and stuff like that was something controversial? No, they believe that. And yes, this is what I'm going to, because I think I posted that article. here in the chat. If I hadn't, let me post it. You can't make this stuff up. Let me post it. Let me post this in the chat.
I know one thing. Down there in Florida, they is really advertising that 250 years. It's on every speed, on every corner, on the light pole.
It
I said,
is.
man, they really excited about these 250 years. I said, boy, you just don't know. That's it. Like that Michael Jackson album. This is it. This is it.
This is it.
It's over.
You know, shout out to Michael Jackson because, you know, he was going to do This Is It tour, and then they took it away, and they said, this is not it. This is, man, 15, what is it, almost 17 years ago? 2000, was it 2009? Man, 17. Goodness gracious.
Time flies.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. This is what I was talking about. This is updated 4 minutes ago. Well, it says updated 4 minutes ago. So it's first published today, June 11th at 8:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trump threatens to seize Iran's oil export terminal Karg Island and take total control of its energy industry. Come on, here we go. President Trump said the U.S. military will attack Iran very hard tonight. The U.S. will soon take over the country's oil infrastructure points and its oil and gas markets, Trump said in a Truth Social post. See, they now have to let out. This is a desperation move. The U.S. will soon take over the country's oil infrastructure points and its oil and gas markets, Trump said in a Truth Social post. Trump compared the forthcoming action to the U.S. operations in Venezuela, which is working out brilliantly for both Venezuela and the United States of America, he wrote. I told you. You trying to go for that oil. I told you. President Donald Trump on Thursday, this is today, this is right now, threatened to seize Iran's oil infrastructure, including its main export terminal, Karg Island, in the not-too-distant future. Why is that? Because they're having problems, and they have to do an action. I see. My mind is calculating all how bad this will be. My mind is literally calculating all the worst that's going to happen. This is
Brother
a total
Karras,
act
let me
of
ask you,
desperation.
Brother Karras, they actually
Yes.
have troops in position to put on the ground. You think they snuck some troops in there? I didn't think you could get anything past. You talk about taking Karg Island, so they're prepared for.
Let me tell you this. The reason, and this goes to what was happening. Let me put on my military planning hat, my planning, especially intel planning. Okay. When I look at things like that, you just dropped off again, Minister Rick. So the U.S. has been able to utilize, and this is why ports have been struck over near Eilat, over there in Haifa, and that Middle Eastern nation, or the Eastern Mediterranean nation. This is why you have Lebanon being attacked, because again, you're trying to get ships into that Mediterranean nation port, which is why you have Jordan being struck, because in Jordan you can float on over into northern Saudi Arabia. Then from Saudi Arabia, you can go into Kuwait, you can stage into Qatar, and you can also stage into UAE. So you now have multiple lines of insertion into our avenues of approach on Karg Island. This is why the bases have been struck recently. And they are backfilling those bases. They're probably going 24/7. Hey, we're gonna do this. We got drones, we got automation, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. There's gonna be a real battle. The extent of the battle, I'm not sure how it will be published. I'm gonna tell you this. If it goes really bad, then guess what's gonna end up happening? We're gonna be suffering. We're going to be targeted. It's your fault. You all did not support this. You all did not do this. You all were talking about this. You all wanted reparations, and see what you did to this country. Yes, this was the whole point, to start this war. He's literally telling you. Again, this is from CNBC. I told you, I gave you the article. You can see that. You can fact check it. Let me go back into the article. Give me a second. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. We already know that that's going to be the case. That's simple. All right, Mr. Rick, I'll let you in. You have to still connect your audio device. Trump said in the Truth Social post that the U.S. military will attack Iran very hard tonight after completing a round of airstrikes on Wednesday. The president threatened to take control of Iran's oil and gas markets as the U.S. did in Venezuela. Karg Island is Iran's main oil export terminal, accounting for about 90% of its crude shipments before the war. The U.S. Navy has already choked off most of Iran's exports through a blockade against the country's port and vessels. I'm going to tell you what's going to get ready to happen. I'm going to tell you what is going to get ready to happen. When they try to go through and do this, that to me is when there's going to be some simultaneous actions going on, because they've already been staging this with some drills and things of that nature in Taiwan. They're going to choke off the Strait of Taiwan. Taiwan's going to come through. They also have Chinese vessels in the area, because that doesn't just threaten Iran, that threatens China. So there's a lot of geopolitical consequences that's there. You're also going to have Russia strike out, and Russia will probably do some more damage over to Europe. And they're going to tell Europe, here's the ultimatum. There's going to be literally a domino effect to this. Also, how are they going to get the oil over to the United States? They're not going to. That's not the play. That's not the plan. They're going to try to pipe it through some ports and terminals over into, i.e., either Qatar, Saudi Arabia, or UAE, because they won't be able to pipe it through, or they won't be able to have any vessels go through any of the areas. Maybe Bab al-Mandeb will be closed, so that's not going to happen. Maybe Cape of Good Hope, Malacca Strait will be closed up by China. This is now getting into World War III territory, and overnight. Hey, in order for us to get this oil, we need our people. There's going to be a big there's going to be a big, probably campaign or draw up.
Brother
Oh,
Karras, let
pipe
me
the oil
ask you.
war. You already know.
Uh,
To Haifa. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
uh,
Minister Rick.
this is a paradigm shift in naval warfare. It's just like when
Mm-hmm.
the aircraft carriers took over after Pearl Harbor. The anti-ship missiles. It's always been assumed nobody could challenge the U.S. on the sea, but the submarines almost beat us in World War II. So you've got Chinese submarines, you've got undetectable Iranian submarines because of the thing there. If if a naval battle kicks off, we could lose. It would be like we got the equivalent of battleships, outmoded power. So I don't. You think China? I don't think China and Russia are going to back down. And with those missiles there, what do you think?
Oh no! This is what they were looking for. Remember, what did I just say? Anytime you have that meet and greet, and what did they just have? They just had Putin meeting Xi, right? In China. You had Xi meeting who? North Korea. Kim Jong Un in North Korea. What? Not even 48 hours ago. You're gonna have look. This is gonna be a cascaded action because when that goes down, North Korea is gonna have to come on out and do basically a block party on the Japanese. And yes, North Korean missiles can hit Japan relatively easily. So the eastern flank will be basically cut off. That will then allow for the Chinese to then block off. They're going to then do a global blockade on the West. Now, here's what is going to start popping off. You now have Europe going to have the ultimate ultimatum. Now you say you don't trust Europe? Hey, listen. They're going to have the ultimatum. This is going to be ultimatum week. Look, we already knew. I am not surprised. I'm just giving you the analysis.
You mean Europe's going to have to pick a side?
Yes, they will. And Europe will say, look, we side with everything. Because remember, the EU just allowed for Russian oil to be utilized. The only people that's not allowing that are the Ukrainians now. They said, okay, we're not going to sanction Russian oil and things of that nature. Now all of a sudden, Zelensky is like, yeah, we can have talks with Vladimir. They always try to prop themselves up before that collapse happens. Just like what we saw a couple of weeks ago. Matter of fact, we were talking about this literally last month. You had the French official, well, the Sahel won't be there, and this and that, and now all of a sudden, now France has to talk reparations. That's the MO. That's what they do. The vain imaginations. That's it. Again, when you understand the pattern, when you see what's happening and oh yeah, that's getting ready to happen, they don't have any legs to stand on. Their system is broken. That's why they get mad, because their system is broken. It's a broke system.
Brother Karras, meanwhile in Africa, do you think the nations are moving closer to the Sahel, like even Benin has moved over? What do you think?
I think this. You have to make sure it's just like everything else here in the West. What ends up happening in the West? You always have to have two systems. It's a dichotomy. Oh, well, we don't really side with them, but we have this. Oh, well, we don't really think like this, but we have that. Well, that's what the African Union is with the Sahel Alliance, right? A dichotomy of the two different players, two different factions or functions. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Now they're trying to present that because why? You got to present the good cop, bad cop. You got to present the Mutt and Jeff. Oh, well, well, we're the African Union, so we really don't stand with that. But yet they're headlining the reparations talk. In the African Union, there's a sixth region for the African diaspora. They're headlining the reparations talk. In my opinion, this is all coordinated.
I agree with you, Cobra. I think we are going to get out of here around 2027 with that reparation check in hand, because we're going to need some kind of economic funding when we hit that continent over there. You get what I'm saying? To get established.
Well, exactly. But where does that economic funding come through? And I would argue that economic funding is going to come from the Pope. Remember the letter from the Bank of the Vatican? They have the Bank of the Vatican. All of the monies, collections, and things of that nature. Why is that? I believe, that's my personal opinion, I believe that this is that first call for funding that would then go to the African Union to at least fund the liquidity aspect to support the different infrastructure projects. You just can't have a lot of people showing up. You got to get some infrastructure in there. Oh, you can still have currency like through the yuan or other currencies. That's why the whole BRICS system's there. That's why they're trying to do the global South system. And that, to me, in my opinion, is why they're trying to do Euroclear, which is basically the use of the Chinese yuan. Yeah, it's still going to be the African Union. That'll be the distribution under. This is what I'm looking at, under the auspices of Ghana. Under the auspices of Ghana. But remember, if you look at it right now, Ghana has us recognized as what? The 17th region. Do you see how this all makes sense? Hey, come back home. Let's get you figured on out. Yes, yes, Pastor Rick Fletcher. I'll take a gold-backed currency, absolutely.
This
is just my calculus. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we don't know what money will be at the time of the Exodus. The dollar and this nation may be totally out of the picture. So a lot of people are envisioning, still in that Babylon mindset of what the currency they're actually going to get. So I think that calculus has to be put together, how we will be compensated. But I'm with gold-backed currency too. Put me in that column.
Which is why, okay, here's the thing. We see it all going together, but again, as a hostage, a traditional hostage, you don't have any say-so in this. You're a hostage. Hey, we're getting ready to get you up on out of here. We're going to get ready. They're going to have to treat us like Billy Ray Valentine. This is your vase. This is your carpet.
We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing to get the ransom money. We don't know what they're doing to get the ransom money.
You know what I'm saying? Well, it's like when the Dukes had Billy Ray Valentine up in. No. This is your house. You mean I can just play with this vase and? Oh, of course we want to have our seat at the table. Oh, make no mistake about it. Oh yeah, the money is going to come from the Gentiles, but that is where, again, the Pope, who has to make the first declaration, the Universal Declaration, who establishes the charters in the order. It was done under the Pope. It's still done under the Pope. Why do you think the Pope is having there's now taking jabs? Oh, well, because why? Oh, we cut you off. Sorry, US, don't take it personally. We cut you off. Why? Because we still need those resources from Africa. It is what it is. Hey, it's just business. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just business. You get it. What they're saying is just business is all prophecy. Yeah, okay. You know, you can take the money as long as we can continue to have access to the resources. Yeah, but
You
you're
know,
gonna be
it's
paying back up all the gold, right? For those that don't bring their offering, what is it? They don't get water. That's how the Most High said. That's what he said. If you don't, if they're not bringing their offering, if they're not bringing their tithes, if they're not bringing their gifts, they get no water. They're not being blessed to even receive water. Why is that? Because them data centers are going to be messing them up. Yeah, they get no
man.
rain. Thank you, Sister Stephanie. They get no rain.
No rain.
Rome and the popes has always claimed authority over the kings of this world, and they gave the kings of this earth license to enslave us. So they're reclaiming
Yes.
that same authority over the kings, including amputating the road king of the U.S. out of the picture.
Yes, they got to now cut off their own arm. What was the U.S.? The U.S. was always the militaristic side
Of
of this
Babylon.
system. Hey, we got to sacrifice this side. And then what else do they have to sacrifice? Then they have to sacrifice their monetary resources. Hey, as long as we can get resources, they're now seeing what's happening. This whole shift going over to Asia is messing up these European powers. What are they doing? They're now bringing in because here's the thing, it's a psychological operation. Remember, we told you the favorability rate of the US, now this is in 15 countries, was at 11%. What do you think is going to happen when a lot more oil gets cut off? What do you think happens with these naval blockades? Folks are having that's actually, they've had war declared on them globally. I can't get my oil. I have to pay Iran and then I have to pay the US. Man, these are economic embargoes. Hey, sorry. You all allowed this to happen. You all allowed this. And now we're just taking back our power. You have a problem? You need to talk to the US.
So the
Yeah,
merchants
we
of
see
the
the book
earth.
of Obadiah coming to play. You know, in the book of Obadiah, you know, it said all the nations that were confederate against, that was confederate with thee, has turned against thee. So we see that the Psalms 83 nations are turning against Edom. You know, the European powers. But you see within their own house, there's a infighting going on between Edom. You know, like what you're explaining to us. You know, this is why the Pope is separating himself. This is why France and the rest of these nations are separating themselves from America, because what's going on is it's biblical prophecy. Is, you know, that's the way you're explaining it to us, Brother Carey. That's what I see. You know.
I
Oh yeah.
believe they're dangerously close of the nations of the world, standing afar off in ships, looking at the smoke of Babylon's burning, and they're not even seeing it.
What does it say? It's falling. It's falling. And that is why, look, all we're doing is we're witnessing everything happening. And as the stuff is happening, look, I know people want to get mad. Oh, well, that's this and that. Look, you can get mad. That's fine. It's still happening. I have no control over this. We're just looking at how things are shaping up. Let me tell you this article, because all this is happening in real time. Again, June 11th, 8:49 a.m. updated not about a little over half an hour ago from Kevin Bruniger over at CNBC.com. Iran threatens Elon Musk's companies in Middle East, Iranian state media. Iran will consider all of Elon Musk's companies in the Middle East as military targets as it retaliates against the U.S. Iranian state media outlets reported. The targets include a regional Starlink ground station. They said, you're going to hit us, we're going to hit you. Why is that? Because they're using commercial imagery as a military target. The report came around the same time President Donald Trump warned on his own social media account that the U.S. will attack Iran very hard tonight. So they're letting them know, if you attack us, this is what will happen. The Starlink systems, let me give you some background in the Starlink systems. Those ground systems are there in supporting military operations. That's what they were using. That's what they use over in Ukraine to help with the drone operations. So what do you think is happening? Why do you think they're targeting that? Because more than likely the U.S. is going to use their own drones and their own GPS and things of that nature. So your ground component systems, your ground communication systems, your global communication systems, if you're taking out a component of your global communication systems, which happens to feed your air components, signals go up into the air, signals go down. That's how you track things. That's how you coordinate. Not going to go into the technicals. But if you're taking out that communication node, then basically you're flying blind.
So in the age of the network war and modern technology, you knock out these communication nodes, and they're back to fighting World War II.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they're now utilizing charts. They're now utilizing watches for speed and things of that nature, so they can monitor their trajectory. So then when they have to, move and maneuver through surface to air missiles, that messes up their timing. So then that throws them off in terms of being able to deliver the payloads to strike
And
the target.
So in other words, they're going to be fighting a war, or basically fighting a war in the dark. But they can't see what they can with their technology, so they got to go back to the old way system, the old digital system, the old
Plot
system,
the
the
course.
old way.
Plot the
Yeah.
course. Put your bombers in the air. Plot the course, and have the A pilot take a look. Have your bombardiers in there, weaponized to then have the detonations.
Dumb shells, dumb missiles, and dumb generals and admirals.
Well, yeah,
So
because then look, if you're taking out all those communications, then your your AI components, well, based off of this or based off of that, all the technology pieces, and these are heavy technology pieces. Okay, well, we're going to be so technologically advanced. Uh-oh. Get out the old maps. Get out the maps. Get out your watches. Synchronize your watches.
and when I 20 years ago when I got into trucking, it was we had to learn how to use a map.
Mm-hmm.
We had to learn what a legend was and how
Yep.
to calculate the miles with the scale that it has on that map to show you how many miles is between this place and that place, right? That's an
Yep.
old I call it that's an old communication art that has been lost within this generation we live in, because on TikTok, they've been playing these videos on YouTube. These young folks, you can ask them which way is east. I don't know. Which way is north? I don't know. Which way? Where do the sun rise at? I don't know. Boy, I
It's just
tell
that.
y'all. See, brothers and sisters, if you don't know how to read a map, I advise you to get used to reading a map, because when the technology or the internet or the power goes out, you're going to need some form of sense of direction, and you know what I'm saying, and know how to read maps.
These things are critical lost arts. They don't even know what Rand McNally is.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what else is a lost art: cursive writing. People don't even write in cursive no more.
Mm-mm. No, they don't.
Did we ever get a digital green book out of the new age?
The digital look, the way that they're trying to do things. Remember, they were like, "Oh, we're about to bomb Iran into the Stone Age." Now it looks like this, and let me go ahead and continue this article. Iran will treat all of Elon Musk's companies in the Middle East, including SpaceX's Starlink internet service, as military targets as it retaliates against the U.S. Iranian state media outlet Fars reported Thursday. That's today. Iran is targeting all interests related to economic built holdings, managed by Elon Musk in West Asia, including a regional Starlink ground station, according to a translated post on Fars. So they're going to target all of that infrastructure. And that's the whole thing. So while now that the Trump administration is going to go after civilian infrastructure, well, now this is how war gets ratcheted up. All right. Hey, you want to do this? We're going to do that. You're going to say we're going to work on this. You're going to work on that.
In terms of economic warfare, Elon Musk, I believe his biggest factories are in China.
Well, yeah,
if they
this is
just
this is now
embargo
West
stuff.
Asia. They consider Middle East West Asia. And now they're saying Iran asserts that the U.S. has committed war crimes against it with the support of Musk-related companies, far as reported, citing an informed source. So now they're utilizing, okay, you want to utilize the legalese warfare, right? We said this. Everything that they've done, it's going to boomerang. They picked the right one with Iran. They did. It was funny. I was talking about Huntsville, Alabama earlier today, and Huntsville, believe it or not, it boasts that it has the most PhDs per capita in the United States.
That's right.
Folks with doctorates and things of that nature per capita. Now, here's the reality of the Middle East. Iran has the most PhD holders per capita in the Middle East.
Yes, our brilliant rocket scientists, generals, and presidents decided there, who taught Christians decided they're going to fight the wise men.
Yeah, it's crazy because again, man, what do you think was going to happen? These folks had calculated this game plan decades ago. That's what they said. Hey, we calculated this decades ago. We've had exercises on this. We refined our capabilities to this. We have. They went to they went to the lines then.
And you know, Huntsville also has the largest for the military. Don't they house a lot of the arsenal and stuff right there in Huntsville? Because I used to deliver
Redstone Arsenal.
Redstone Arsenal, and also
Redstone Arsenal. Yep.
You correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Karras, because you're in the military, but I heard if something ever happened to Washington, D.C., that Huntsville, Alabama would become the headquarters of the United States Capitol if something ever happened in Washington. That's just what I heard.
Yeah.
And if you look how 565, well, that's what US 72 turns into 565, and how it's don't 565 put you in the mind of the Washington, D.C. Beltway?
It does.
The 695. You know what I'm saying? Like Huntsville kind of puts you in the mind of Washington, D.C.
Yep. Just saying. And you can get to anywhere in the South. It's a little. You're not quite up in the mountains of Tennessee, but you're in those Huntsville mountains. Mm-hmm. Yes, I've trekked along those Huntsville mountains back in my time. In my youth, yes.
And not only that, NASA is in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes,
and NASA is what now is what's the sixth brand of the military, or is that Space Force? All of that dealing with NASA too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it'd be presumably, yeah, Space Force could be associated with that, presumably.
So, Karras, let me ask you: do you believe?
Yes.
Do you believe that much like Sodom and Gomorrah, that the Most High is going to get His people out of here before that really goes down, before that fireworks start flying?
Well, and I say this. We've already been planning for. We've been talking about this, so it's not like what I'm saying is so far-fetched. Oh my goodness, we never would have thought. Man, are you kidding? We've been talking about this for weeks, and now it's just funny because the Most High's given us the Cliff's version, the Cliff's Notes of prophecy. Oh, okay, they're right on time. Oh, but they're right on schedule. Look, here's the thing. Jacoba is the prophetic resource. He'll let you know. He'll let you know it's this. But it's just funny, contemporarily speaking, just seeing things, especially in the military dynamics and components. I've seen this before. I think the Most High that He's given me the knowledge, the understanding to have seen this. It's very interesting. Yeah, they moved part of the command center to Madison. Look at that. And Madison is Huntsville area. Yes. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was at in Madison, Alabama, which is Huntsville, and I was at the Target Distribution Center delivering water.
Man. That's hilarious. That look how the Most High works.
And that's why they building that place up over there, Brother Karras. You would be amazed if you just go there, just visit for 24 hours. You would not recognize the Huntsville you know. When I tell you that place they got new subdivisions and hotels and all the other amenities coming in that area like crazy. They know something. Why is the
Something's
South?
happening.
Listen, yeah. Why is the
Something's
South all of
happening.
a sudden building up? Just
Building
in
up,
Tupelo,
yeah.
yeah. Like
Come on.
everywhere you go, Tupelo, Mississippi, which is one of the largest cities in the state of Mississippi, it's booming. Like if we're supposed to be in a recession, we're supposed to be in a what you call it, inflation and all that. Who? Why is this all this building up? You don't even listen. The people in Nashville, Tennessee, are mad because Nashville ain't Nashville no more because the Californians are coming down and took it over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything. It's funny. Everything is coming southeast again. It's coming
Yeah.
southeast. And as I was stating this, like even my brother a couple years ago, he was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get down like maybe to Atlanta," and he's over in Washington State, and I'm like, and I get it because now we're seeing how the Most High is moving in this direction. Look, he's gonna move you. He's gonna deal with you. We know how he deals with us the most through economics. He's gonna deal with you financially. Oh, when he deals with you financially, you're gonna have the fear of the Most High. Yes, and Georgia is building up. It's all building up.
Yeah.
Everything on I-75, everything on I-95, everything on 85, everything on I-10.
Oh, let me tell you about I-10 now in Florida,
Go ahead.
from
Uh-huh.
Pensacola to Jacksonville. Now
Uh-huh.
I call that's the most ruralest part of Florida. Is
Florida.
the
Yes,
is
it is.
it's the I-10 corridor,
The
brothers and sisters.
Panhandle corridor. Yep.
Yeah, the Panhandle corridor. So they building up the infrastructure there so fast. Now I went to Panama City and Panama City Beach the other day.
Uh-huh.
Y'all, they building down through that stretch. Not on the beach part, but further inland, back toward the
What is it?
I-10 corridor. They built
What is that?
carriage.
Crestview?
You,
Crestview
yeah,
area? Yeah.
carriage. I'm thinking about moving to Panama City Beach. When I tell you they is building that place up down there,
Mm-hmm.
all down through there, it just ain't Panama City Beach. That's just where I was at. But as I was riding, looking at the landscape, I said, man, everybody's moving down here. Listen, I live in
Mm-hmm.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm. I know
Okay.
Murfreesboro. Yep.
So
Yep.
my next door neighbor, my wife told me they're moving to where? Pensacola, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, babe, don't you know they building up all down through there? I said, Pensacola don't look like Pensacola of old.
Mm-mm.
So what is going on? I don't know, y'all. They just crazy how everything is coming south.
It is. It is. And the infrastructure is being built up here. Now there is a real recession going on. It absolutely is. Now I tell you this, that's so don't get that thing twisted. I believe, just my opinion, I believe that what they will do as things get started, I think that their whole the whole structure would then shift south to Florida. It would, and I would say shift south to Florida in terms of what you would have, especially with Mar-a-Lago. That's the second White House. If you all didn't know, by default, that's the second White House. DC is way too close to your blue states. Because you got to remember when this goes down and this gets sour, they're going to be drafting articles of impeachment so fast, it's not even funny.
And you don't get no rule in South Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
South Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and South Mississippi.
Jasper.
Yeah.
Jasper.
So I'm saying South Georgia, you don't get no ruling in South Georgia. If you ain't never been to South Georgia, just go visit. Once you
get
get
on
past Macon,
US 129 and just take a trip on US 129. There is nothing there.
nothing.
What?
Nothing. But now they're building there. Now stuff is coming. I'm talking about, like I said, I be all over the South. And when I was in South Georgia, like I said, I got an uncle there. When I was over in Douglas, Georgia,
Yeah.
I said, man, Douglas is coming. I said, man, what is going on? I was like, everywhere
Douglas.
you go. Yeah, because when
Douglas.
you get
Douglas.
past,
So let's orientate folks. Douglas is about an hour and a half south of Atlanta.
that's right.
It's literally closer to your Macon, Georgia, than anything else.
Right, it's closer to Macon. And you know what, Brother Carey? I consider South Georgia everything below Macon.
That is, yeah, like your Cordell, your Adel, or your what is it, Abel, and
Adele,
then you have
Adele, yeah.
your Tifton, you know, and again, that's about 4 hours from Tampa. Again, that's a 4 hour ride. Then I have to have my little stop, my break before I get into Atlanta. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's my
That's
that's
what,
my
yeah.
halfway points.
When you see that Macon, back when the Macon and that folks, you can stay on 75 or hit that 475. Once you get on 475, just say you're in Atlanta. Time you get on that and get
Yeah,
back to say that you're in Atlanta, it's
in
over
Atlanta.
with. Traffic
Yeah.
is gonna be hell from that point on north.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have Forsyth and everything else. Yeah, Perry. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. Yeah, somebody said Valdosta. Yeah, Valdosta. That Valdosta is really just north of the state line here in Florida. That's north of the state line. So and again, it's no secret why they're building. Yeah, and yes, Minister Rick was. I know he's having some connection issues. He's saying, "Do you think this is why they're emphasizing Cuba?" Absolutely. Cuba's too close. But again, I don't think that they'll have because you gotta understand this. This is going to be kind of the worst nightmare. This is the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario. Oh yeah, we can go on into um all these different places. We can go into here. We can go into there. We can go into Iran. Well, think about it. Iran hasn't panned out the way that they wanted it to pan out. Remember, they were trying to remember before this whole thing in Iran. This is January. They were trying to cause a popular revolution, and that didn't happen. They were trying to literally flood guns into Tehran, and they're still trying to do that via Azerbaijan. That was literally stated a couple of weeks ago. That didn't happen. So then they're like, okay, we got to get our hands dirty. Remember, all that stuff didn't happen, and they said, okay, well, let's get to these to the negotiating table. We'll treat you. We'll do this. We're coming with the olive branch. Remember, that's what the U.S. wanted. And the negotiating table that the U.S. wanted was when the U.S. struck Iran. You can't make this up. And this is now happening full time and in real time. But before I get up on out of here, before I go to the final comments, I want to actually show this real quick. Again, Brother Fast Nickel, shout out to Brother Fast Nickel. This is what we are working on right now in the revamp of the website. In terms of this website going on live, we should have this hopefully in the next, I would say, week to week and a half. I'll let you know when we will be going live. A lot of the background infrastructure has to be put back with different things. So that's what's going on. That's what I'll be doing right after I get off the live here and supporting these efforts. But just to give you a preview of the website, as you begin to see, how things are moving, and we'll be building that up a little bit more there. So that's why I said again, thank you for being patient with us. It's just one of those things that we have to be able to move along and grow along and go through. So we are doing our best to get things together for our people. All right, thank you, Brother Mikael. I think he fell off. Minister Rick, final thoughts.
Well, real briefly, uh, with all this knowledge, uh, we're without excuse, and if people to do it. So it comes down to the one point when Messiah talked to his disciples and posed the question, "Who do you say I am?" And this is the question for the Gentiles and the Hebrews or whatever, because that's the pivot point right there. If he's Messiah and our covenants through him and we act accordingly, then we're good. But and it goes for the Gentiles. Is he Messiah and they're going to follow him and not to be hearers of the word and doers of the word, then they're good. But if he's somebody else, even if you're a Hebrew brother, whatever, then you're tail out. So make the decision. As Joshua said, choose this day who you will serve. And that's my final point.
All right. Thank you, Minister Rick. Appreciate it. There was a comment from Leslie Taylor. She said, I think they are preparing for those volcanic eruptions. I looked at a map of what they think the U.S. will look like. That's why they're going south. It probably is. You're absolutely right. It probably is because, again, what they calculated was that the volcanic ash and things of that nature would still stay relatively north of the Appalachian Mountains. So, and again, there was a pretty sizable earthquake in the Gulf of Mexico earlier this week. So, that's still kind of, that still bothers me a little bit. I'm like, wow, to have it that close, a 6.1, they were afraid that it could have caused a tsunami warning because it is relatively shallow in the Gulf of Mexico. So when you have shallow waters like this, any type of earthquakes, those do trigger those types of tsunamis, and that's just because of how the water is. And yes, the St. Louis Madrid, the Madrid fault in St. Louis. Yep. so yeah, yes, that is they're talking about the Yellowstone caldera. Absolutely. So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. So that actually means that probably sometime this week or this weekend, when they're saying this again, you're hitting points and times that you have to think of this as quarterly windows. They're now at a quarterly window. Those quarterly windows are occurring right now. Don't think that the energy infrastructure is getting better. It's not. This is why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah, I think, I didn't know. I think I felt it also. I didn't know what was going on. Honestly, I thought it was like a big truck or something that that had like gone past my building, and lo and behold, there it was. And my dog was acting a little funny and strange. Like, you don't feel this? Oh, all right. Well, fam, I got to get up on out of here. Thank you for being patient with me. Before I do go, I will be on tomorrow. Q2A Fridays, I will be on tomorrow. We will talk about some different things happening on the continent because, again, I want to really touch on the African Union and what role they are playing and what that means for those that are supporting Q2UA and its endeavors as a nonprofit 501c3 with the mission of critical infrastructure and economic development. So this again is how the Most High has been positioning this organization to do some great things. So I do want to look into that and discuss some of those things there. With that, again, last announcement. I believe I am still on. I'll be discussing some things with Pastor Rick Fletcher on this Sunday. This Sunday, I'll be on with Pastor Rick Fletcher on his channel. So that is the tentative schedule. And with that, I do have to get up on out of here. But be blessed, family. Yeah, a lot of things are going on. We'll discuss and cover some of these things. Be blessed. Stay safe. And remember to carry the name of Yahusha with you wherever you go, because we are literally in some perilous times. But when you call on the name of Yahusha, the Most High's got us covered. Thank you, family, for your support of this channel. Thank you, family, for your prayers. If you'd like to do so, I'll have the little thing right here. But I really do appreciate, what the Most High has put in your heart to support this channel, family. A lot of the things that I do, I really can't say on YouTube because it's YouTube. Sorry. It's YouTube. But it really does go a long way in terms of our influence over in the continent. So just as they're showing you what's happening, look, you already know it's not that far away in terms of what the Most High is doing and revealing. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, I got to get up on out of here. And with that, you all be blessed. Till next time, family, Most High willing, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.